Bentonville. I'm one of the career advisors here at George Brown College. I've been at George Brown for working here for about 7 years, and I was a student before that. So I just, I'm happy to be doing the last webinar for career services of this year, and then we can put 2020 behind us. Hi, Carla. Thanks for just joining. I strongly encourage you to use the chat if you want to ask questions. Yes, I have slides for this session, and those slides are really just to walk us through some of the tips and strategies on how to kind of better get to a network. But as I know, if you have come here into this session, you may have questions that are specific. Just type them in the chat and I will either answer them right away or I will get to the answer. I just prefer that so that we are here with purpose and you are able to get the information you need. I'm just going to do a quick sharing of my screen and then I can get the PowerPoint going. One second. Ooh. Okay, so I have two screens, so I am able to see the chat box here. Perfect, just reading things here. So feel free, again, type anything in the chat and I will do my best to answer those questions. So this is really a segment of a LinkedIn workshop that I've done that was given to us from LinkedIn. That's all the different pieces about LinkedIn. I'm really going to focus on just mostly about things you might not have known that are on there, or tips and strategies on how to connect to people or find out the information that you might want. Yes, LinkedIn is kind of a job search tool, but I've just found over the years more and more that there's just so much research you can do on careers, find out what new skills you want. So hopefully after the next 30 minutes or so, you'll have a better sense of different areas where you may want to look. So first of all, I always like to start with this slide in almost every session I do, because when we talk about LinkedIn, we're also talking about networking. And usually this kind of shows a good example of when we're looking for jobs. Most of the time, when I ask people where they're looking for jobs, they'll say, oh, I go online to Indeed or LinkedIn and I'm looking for jobs through job postings. That seems to make sense. I would think that seems like the right logic. If I'm up here at the top, I'm an employer, so I'm running a company and I have vacancies. I do not want to post a job. It takes a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy. If you think of it, you have to go through all those applications, screen down, set up interviews, interview applicants probably once, twice, 3 times, sometimes even 4 interviews, make a choice and hope it's the right choice. And then sometimes it may take a long time, and that one choice has already got a different job or opportunity. So from the company's point of view, getting to that job posting is that last step. What someone in a company is usually going to do is see if there's anyone already at the company that wants a new role. Great, hopefully you get a new salary, you'll get trained up and you have a new job. That person would move over, there's still a gap. But right here, this little referral section, this is how companies find work. I talk to recruiters all the time and companies say, what's your best way of getting good talent for your company? And they will say through referrals. And what that means is if I was hiring and I needed to find, I would ask my team already and say, does anybody know anyone that would be good for this job? And then my colleague might say, oh yes, I went to school with this person, they'd be great, they'd be a great fit for the company, and they're getting referred. So I'm gonna say, great, can you see if they want a new job? Get me their resume. So, that just already goes through so much of that screening, because if you go through someone that already works for a company or knows your needs, that person is going based on their reputation, and also you would think that an employee would understand what it's like to work there, so would only refer suitable candidates. So this is where we always want to be, in this referral mode, always. How do you get there? You need to build connections with people, especially being that we're working and studying remotely right now. LinkedIn's a great way to try and connect to people. Again, networking is just connecting to people with intention. So, making sure when you're reaching out, you're not just clicking connect, but maybe you have a purpose. I'm a student, I've got a year left, and I just want to connect with you as you might have some great information for me. So a variety of different social medias out there. I just have on the slide here the kind of 6 top ones that are usually used. Most of the time when I go through, people say, what's this Eventbrite and what's this 10,000 coffees? So Eventbrite, this is just like an event or ticketing kind of platform for concerts, events, but there's tons of stuff that's relevant to career or industry. So you could literally go onto Eventbrite, type in career fair, see what's coming up. You could type in, let's say you're in an engineering program, you could say engineering, or maybe you're really interested in climate change, and you can type that in and you can see what events are coming up. It's a great way to connect to people, and there's a lot of stuff still on there, so I strongly recommend that to go on there. Then you've got 10,000 coffees, this one on the right. This is a kind of mentoring advice platform that we have a license with at George Brown. If you go to the George Brown website, you can sign up on it. It's called GB Connect Cafe through 10,000 coffees. And then what it does is matches you up with someone who's looking for information for maybe an expert. And most of those experts are alumni from George Brown. So I'm just trying to show a few different kind of areas where you can be networking online. And then you've got your Twitter, your Instagram, Facebook. I like these ones for if you're trying to reach out to someone in a company, and sometimes you can't find emails anymore, or it has one central thing on the website. All social media usually have someone who either is paid to be the social media manager, or they have someone in the company that their job is to respond. So I always like to recommend going through, say, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. If you're trying to find someone, there's no guarantee, but you may go in and just say, hey, I am looking for someone to talk to in your company about this, as I'm a student at George Brown. Could you connect me? Someone is paid to do that, so you would hope there might be a better chance of them getting that information to you. No guarantees, but we always want to be trying to find different ways to connect. And the one I'm mainly talking about in the next 25-30 minutes is LinkedIn. So this is the one we're going to touch on. Perfect. So just some quick facts from LinkedIn. I think we all know this. We're seeing this in action because of this pandemic, but the world is changing, and that changes the way we work. Even before this happened, there's always things that kind of change how we do work. It's much more competitive out there. Not impossible to find a job, but it is much easier for job seekers or recruiters to be competitive, and you want to make sure you're presenting yourself the best or having that inside connection. There's new skills always developing and emerging. If you think almost every company now has worked remotely in some sort, a lot of companies these are skills that we're developing. So we want to always be knowing what those skills are so we're prepared. And you can find that on LinkedIn through people or just through some research. And as I mentioned, there's this disruption. Right now we are in a disruption that's been going on for, 9-10 months now of working remotely through the pandemic. But it also helps us find new technologies. Industries always change, software changes. How we work is really related to that. So if you think of AI, artificial intelligence and how that's going in, we want to know as much as we can about our industry, and especially thinking about what skills we need, what future tech will I have to work with, and how can I be on the top of competition. How do you do that? You talk to people, you connect with people. LinkedIn, just some fast facts. This is from last year. So LinkedIn has over 600 million members. If you think of how many people that is, that's a lot of scope to reaching people from the comfort of your laptop or computer or smartphone even. Over 30 million companies are on there. So whether you're looking for work or just want to see the vast scope of what types of companies are out there, there's a lot on there. And you can also look at different schools, and there's schools that I'm going to show you this after, but there's you can even go to the George Brown College school site and kind of see where people in your program are working. You might want to connect with them depending on where your level is. Just things to think about. All right, so I was just looking at the chats there, making sure I didn't forget anything. Great. So just quickly on the basics of a profile, this is what you use to brand and promote yourself. Let's call it the digital resume or something like that. It's a fusion of them all. There's different sections, and it's quite easy to go through. I would recommend having a photo on there. It's just, we live in a day of social media, and image again. People are used to seeing faces. I'm never going to tell someone they have to do something, but having a photo on your profile will get you noticed more, and more recruiters and people will look. In all honesty, when I see a profile without a picture, I always wonder what they're hiding. And it's very strange to connect to a profile that doesn't have that picture. And that doesn't need to be a professional photo. Our smartphones have really good quality. You just take a picture of you smiling, looking professional, but friendly, or some sort of industry-related picture. And then the rest of the information on there is sort of this headline and summary, which is really just that tell me about yourself or elevator pitch type thing, where it's showing some of your experience, your education, and your goals. And then there's other pieces that are much more like, breaking down your volunteer experience, your work experience, very similar to what a resume looks like. Again, if you're trying to figure out what you want to put on your LinkedIn profile, we can help you in the Career Center through our drop-ins or booking one-on-ones with an advisor. But the easiest way, I say, is to look at other people's profiles in your industry and see how they have stuff arranged, and then you can kind of copy the pieces that you like. You can't copy and paste exactly because your experience is different, but you can get a sense of how things are arranged. All right, so the main part I wanted to focus on is just a few tips on how to get that information you want and connect to areas of your networking community. So, over the break, when you're not studying, you have some time to, start building up your career network. I will remind you again, feel free to type questions in the chat at any time if you have them. Otherwise, I'll just move on forward. I just mentioned the one tool that you can use through LinkedIn that is called the Alumni Tool. And what you're going to be doing with the Alumni Tool is you type in George Brown College. It will pop up, the school will pop up, and you're going to see a screen that looks similar to this. Keep in mind, LinkedIn's always changing its layout a little bit, so it may look a bit different. I think they just made other changes last week, but it has the same content. You're going to find a little thing that says alumni, and you want to click alumni, and then what you would do is you can type in the name of your program, and it's going to shortlist like 15, 20 companies related to George Brown, related to your program. It's also going to show you people that are related. Okay, I just saw your question there, Carla. I'll get to you in one sec. So, if you're looking for people to connect to, and especially if we don't have as big of a community of connections already, if you go to the George Brown alumni site, you know that if you put in the program name, all of the people you see there are connected to George Brown, connected to your program. I would like to think they'd be more willing to connect and provide you information since they were in your position once. So that's a really great way to get closer to people. And now, Carla, I'm just seeing your question here, and it says, what's the main difference between what you include in your resume and what you include in your LinkedIn profile? It's a really good question. I think when LinkedIn first started, people just thought, oh, I'm just going to put my resume information. We know that job search and finding jobs can be challenging, and we want to make sure we're best presented. Resume, I would say for the most part, is a little more static and concrete, but it is similar information. I would say on LinkedIn, you can expand more. You're not limited to that 1 or 2 pages, but the strategies between LinkedIn and resume are similar. On LinkedIn, though, when you write your summary, that's much more as if you're talking to someone. So there's this showing a bit of your personality or your professionalism, or a bit more about you as well. LinkedIn is social media, but it also is a job posting site and a recruitment site. So you can add a little more information. Resumes are very kind of to the point. Are you matched in the skills? So almost think like the resume is that thing you email or print out and give, that's sort of like a business card of you. And then the website or the LinkedIn profile is just extra information to complement. So, there's the business card version, and then there's the full version about how much information you want to put on. There's lots of different things that you can add to LinkedIn to make sure it's best representing you. So, I also know I have had recruiters reach out to me through LinkedIn. I've also had, I've applied to jobs through LinkedIn where I never had to use my resume. So some companies, you always need to have a good resume. Don't let me say that, but some companies are even just going straight through something like LinkedIn. I don't know if you've noticed when you apply, sometimes you can just click apply with LinkedIn. And so all that information there, you can add more. So I just think the resume is a little bit, it's still necessary, but it's just LinkedIn, you can expand a bit more. Hopefully I kind of answered your question there, Carla. And again, if you have questions after this, you can always connect with one of us in the Career Center, and we can really help to sort of build up your profile. Awesome, and I got a yes, thanks. Okay, so LinkedIn, again, most people think job. And I always say that think of that as the last point, but think of LinkedIn, you can use it to research, connect people, find answers. So there's some things you could do, and this is similar like other social media, except LinkedIn is more on the professional realm of social media, but you can follow companies and influencers. So let's say you're in an architecture program, you'd want to be following different architecture companies, or maybe interior design magazines, things like that. Just as you're going through LinkedIn, you're going to see companies or interesting people. I like to follow Richard Branson, the CEO of Virgin. I just find his entrepreneurial and innovative brain really interesting. So as soon as I'm clicking follow on companies I'd want to work for or I'm interested in and influencers, it's going to send me information through my news feed. And so the more you click on things that you're interested in or you think are related to your industry, the better information is just coming when you look on your profile. I follow Deepak Chopra. I like to follow that one as well. A little bit of philosophy mixed into my professionalism. So there's lots of interesting stuff. You don't need to worry too much about what you follow. Follow what you're interested in, but definitely follow like prominent companies or new companies that you come across related to your industry. Don't overthink it. Just like, oh, that's interesting. Click the button and you're following. You can always change that. And I think that's one thing about LinkedIn. People, when they first start building, don't realize you can always change something. Maybe you see a new job or a new company. Oh, I want to just change the way I wrote my profile so that I'm getting the right attention. Or maybe you're trying to, connect to someone and you see a lot of interesting things in their feed, and you want to make sure your likes and follows or the companies you follow match up with that person so that they see more in common and might be more willing to connect to you. Again, when you're connecting to people, even through LinkedIn, there's a human being on the other side, and you need to be, if you're trying to connect with another human, what do? We talk about connection, why you're trying to connect to them. The best tips I can say for connecting to people: be friendly, genuine, and be to the point. It's in person or online. If you just click the connect button, it's not going to be enough for someone to want to connect. Give them some context, even if that context is, I'm a student at George Brown, I'm in a hospitality program, I've got a year left, and I'm just trying to research what the future of this industry might be like. I'd love to be able to connect with you. Friendly, genuine, and to the point. Don't forget to let people know why you're reaching out to them, even if it is just to say, I just need some more people in my industry that are experts. So if I have any questions going on in the program, find something unique and really draw on that. Almost anyone who connects to me and is genuine in what their response is, I will always respond. If it's generic or it's just copy and paste, I can see that. So take the time to be genuine. You can tell when you read someone's message if it's coming from that place. So again, be more of yourself. Okay, so LinkedIn, yeah, it is a job search site. Great. Whether you're near the end of your program or at the beginning, type in different types of roles in your industry and just look at the different types of jobs. I talk to a lot of students and they don't even know what types of jobs they can get on graduating in Toronto, in Canada, globally. So I always say, let's go on LinkedIn, let's type in a couple job titles. And it will just show you, even if you're not looking for a job now, a list of all the jobs that are here right now. And then you can look and see what the requirements are through the responsibilities, qualifications, all that information that is in a job, so that if there's any gaps, you can try to fill them before you graduate, or if you're graduating soon, making sure you have that. Also, when you look at jobs, it's going to show you, the company. You can click through and look at the company. It's going to show you people that work at that company, and you might be able to find a connection. So when you look at jobs before you're even looking for work, you can get a lot of information about your industry. So I just tell people, look, even if it's the highest level of a job, you're going to get a sense of what's expected, and you're going to find people. Again, with LinkedIn, it's not like steps 1 through 8. You still never know where an opportunity is going to come from. But I have learned, and I always preach this, if you go with intention looking for information, you will see more information. So that's why I'm saying go to the Alumni Tool, follow companies, look at jobs, apply to jobs if you think you're ready, if you have the skills. And one great thing on LinkedIn, so beyond your profile, you've set it up, you're there, and you have the right wording in your industry. You can also join groups and really build your network very easy. Groups are kind of like forums, and you basically find ones that are similar interests. Again, the easiest way to do it, type in some words from your industry or the name of your program, and you'll see on LinkedIn how it splits up into jobs, groups, people, and just kind of explore. But what you'll find in groups is these forums. I know usually when I've gone into class, whether in person or online, and I go into some construction classes, there is a women in construction group. So I always tell people of that demographic to join that group. That's a group of women in construction that can support each other. This is a really great way. Let's say there's, you're a designer and you could find a group based on design. Maybe there's a certain software that you use in your program. There's software groups. And within those groups, there could be 50 to 500,000 people, depending on the group. And that's an area where, one, you can ask questions. You can ask for advice. You could say, hey, I'm a student at George Brown in this program. I'm graduating in 8 months and I just wanted some advice. I'd like to think just at least one person in these groups would be able to give you advice. Maybe you could ask about future trends in your industry. As we mentioned before, you want to make sure we have these new skills that are coming. So you might know how to best prepare. And in these groups also, if you start engaging in a conversation with someone, you can start building your own connections. Sometimes people are quite reluctant to step out of their comfort zone and do things like this. But if you don't ask and you don't reach out, we know what the response is. It's nothing. So why not step out of the comfort zone a little bit, join these groups, be genuine, ask questions, and try and just build that community and connection just a little bit at a time. Again, those are just a few of the pieces that are really important. I say just go on LinkedIn, type in those keywords and look under groups, jobs, people, and then you'll just start to see some answers. And then we have a career center here to help you. We are still open until the 23rd of December, so you can still access advisors until then. So even if you're in the middle of some exams right now, or you're really busy, we're always here to help and connect. And we can do that through our drop-ins, through webinars like this. You can connect with career advisors. I will type my email in the chat, just so you have it if you want to follow up with any questions. But also, I'm just wondering if you had any more questions right now. I can answer them in the moment. I'm happy to answer anything that you might have. Give it one more minute. Awesome. Okay. Well, if you, I'll turn this off so you can see my face. I think you can. Awesome. Anyways, I really want to say thank you. Okay, I think I turned off the there. I just want to say thank you so much. Oh, great, Carly, you've just sent an invitation to connect via LinkedIn. Perfect. Because you just told me that, I will connect with you. And again, if you have other questions or you need support, we're here to help. Again, for those of you who are in this webinar session, if there's more personal things about your profile or you forget something, we're always here to help. Except for while we're on holiday break. But just know that we are here. LinkedIn is a great thing to go on to during the holidays and just start getting a bit more of your career clarity and getting that strategy. And then while you're continuing your program, we're here to support you to make sure that you are the most at the top of the competition and have the right strategy in finding a job. We know how complicated it was before all of this, and now we're dealing with all these extras in the world. So take advantage of the fact that there are more supports to help carry you through. Again, even if you just need some motivation or energy, I tend to try and give that out as well. Anyways, thank you. Short, sweet, easy LinkedIn session. This is recorded, so it will be posted if you wanted to review this at any time or come chat with any of us.